The Cassian Andor series has really taught us a thing or two about how Star Wars stories don't have to be about Jedi, Sith, or any of the other things we come to associate with familiar Star Wars elements. The Andor series features many great monologues, each new one just as good as the one prior. In saying that, not many monologues of any film franchise are as good as the one spoken by Kino Loy, played by Andy Serkis. The depth of his speech goes much farther than surface level. One Way Out has so many meanings, and it turns out to be a sad moment for Andor's Kino Loy. In the 10th episode of Andor, escape from the Imperial prison on Narkina 5 is more than just a pipe dream. With the death of Olaf, Cassian Andor, played by Diego Luna, and Kino Loy, played by Andy Serkis, learn from the doctor tending to Olaf that no one will make it out of the prison alive, that when an inmate gets released, they are instead transferred to another cell block. Well, the Empire made a mistake and transferred a prisoner right back to the same cell and production floor that he was supposed to be released from. This caused panic when the news spread. At this moment, Cassian Andor is able to convince Kino Loy that escape is their only option for freedom and that waiting to serve their sentences only means the beginning of a new sentence, dooming them to die within the confines of the prison. Kino Loy finally comes around and gives a speech to his fellow inmates. There is only one way out. But this won't be the only time he speaks from the heart. As the inmates of Cassian and Kino's production floor spring to action, Kino Loy gets on the intercom and delivers one of the most heartfelt speeches we have seen in recent Star Wars stories. But there's more to his speech than just trying to get the rest of the prisoners of Narkina 5 to act. When we understand the deeper meaning, we realize how this speech tells how Kino has damned himself to a life of servitude and finally, death. Before I continue, listen to my shameless plug. Hello everyone, I'm Gerald and I am a Star Wars fanatic. Don't forget to subscribe. By doing so, you will help my channel immensely. But what benefit is it to you, really? Well, this is freaking Star Wars, baby, and I will give you the most in-depth Star Wars content this side of Generation Tech. Yeah, they're better. But I'm working hard to be almost as good. So subscribe and let's see if we can hit that 50,000 subscriber mark together. Now, watch my nifty intro video. After making the Imperials shut down the main power supply to the facility, Cassian Andor tells Kino Loy, "It's all yours. Tell them what to do," meaning get on that freaking intercom and tell the inmates what has to be done to escape the waking nightmare they have been living in. Kino hesitates. He then begins his speech, telling the inmates exactly what has been going on, how they killed 100 inmates to cover up the mistake they made with the prisoner transfer. Kino tells them to stand up and fight to put the prison behind them. It was a speech that would get any of us to act, do, or die trying. The whole time Kino is directing the inmates, we can see the turmoil on his face, that doing this could have dire consequences for anyone partaking in this uprising, that maybe they could even live longer lives as prisoners of the Narkina 5 production facility than they would if this escape attempt failed. But wait, there's so much more to it, and it isn't until Cassian Andor, Kino Loy, and the other inmates reach their one way out that we understand truly how terrifying this decision has been for Kino Loy. One way out, a message Kino has been saying since he decided escape was the only option. One way out. For the prisoners, that one way out is over the edge into the waters below, but it's much worse for Kino Loy. He can't swim. So he is left on the platform as the others rush over the side. But let's go back to the moment Kino Loy decided that Cassian Andor was right, that they had to fight to escape. It was in a speech he gave to his fellow inmates as they began to muster for their morning shift. He tells everyone that the rumors are true, that they are never getting out, but they're going to act, and they need to come to terms with that there is only one way out. At first, we take it to mean that there is only one way out of their situation and out of the facility to fight for their freedom, that the Empire is not going to let them out. Once we get to the exit, we see that there is only one way out of the prison: jump. And we can be sure that Kino Loy has been telling the other inmates that this is the only way out. But once they begin jumping and we learn that Kino can't swim, stop watching and go back to the moment he was giving his speech over the intercom. In particular, his emotions and expressions during that speech. Watching it for the first time all the way through, it would be easy to miss his true meaning because we are caught up in the moment, the success of the uprising. Yet the one man who was the inspiration to 5,000 men couldn't go with them. But rewatching his speech, we can see so much more. It isn't just the worry that they fail or an empathy for those who may die trying. It's also worry because he knows he can't go with them. That one way out means his death, regardless of the outcome of the riot. He wasn't just telling the other inmates there's one way to escape, and that's by overtaking their captors. He was telling us and himself that the only way out for him is death or capture, which will likely result in his death, as he knows the truth of what goes on with the prisoner transfers. There will be no interrogation. He isn't that important to the Empire. He even says it in his first speech to his fellow inmates just before acting normal and heading to the factory floor. Play it how you want, but I'm going to assume I'm already dead, and take it from there. Kino Loy was telling the other inmates that he is going to die for their freedom, that he will die on his terms, not the terms imposed upon him by the Empire. His one way out is death. Either he jumps and drowns, or he is captured and killed. Many Star Wars fans and fans of the Andor series see Luthen Rael's speech as the greatest in all of Star Wars history, or possibly the best monologue in all of visual media. But when you break down what Kino Loy is saying and how he knows he isn't going to survive, this is the greatest speech to me. As I've said before, it's easy to miss the depth of the message when we're caught up in the moment. That moment when the inmates at Narkina 5 are victorious and they may possibly escape. But rewatching the expressions and the tone used during Kino Loy's intercom speech reveals so much more. Then, coupled with his speech as he tells the inmates that they're done counting shifts, it takes on a whole new meaning. Luthen Rael's speech is amazing, don't get me wrong, but that may have just been a smokescreen to get Lonnie Jung to return to his oath as a rebel sympathizer and informant. I know I've made videos speculating that Luthen may be a Sith or even a Jedi, pointing to his monologue as a clue, but it's likely that isn't the case either way. Or if it is, we may never know. But the Kino Loy speech has so much more depth, so many faceted meanings, not just for the others to stand up, but also as a prophecy of his own death. The expression on his face as he delivers the intercom speech is one of fear. He has already resigned himself to the fact that he's going to die, but that still brings fear in anyone faced with that kind of choice. Kino Loy has become my favorite character of the Andor series. We can empathize with him and our heart breaks as we see him standing on the platform as the others jump into the waters below. But we do have to ask, why didn't he at least jump and get others to help him ashore? Simple, dramatic effect. Or maybe he's afraid of heights as well. They want us to worry about Kino. They want us to wonder what happened to him after everyone else made their escape. They want us to care about him. Now, that isn't saying he will die for sure. It's just in his mind the only conclusion he can come to. But it's entirely possible that he gets rescued at some point or finds a way to escape another way. The acting of Andy Serkis is superb, as is the acting in the rest of the cast of the Andor series. We feel for Luthen when he talks of his sacrifice. We feel the fear Cassian Andor feels when he's being ushered to his new home on Narkina 5. We feel Mon Mothma's troubles when faced with the decision to either give up her daughter to a shady banker or let herself be discovered as a rebel by the Empire, ultimately putting her daughter in even more danger. Some people, not many but a few, have lamented to not enjoying this show, either because they think it's slow and boring or because it's Disney's Star Wars and not George Lucas's. But I couldn't disagree more. The issue is that this is a different kind of storytelling. I won't go into that and draw this video out any further. I'll make another video about that at a later date. But the Andor series has some of the best acting I've seen in Star Wars to date, and Andy Serkis's character, Kino Loy, has risen above the high bar set by the other cast members. I hope to see him rescued or escape through other means, returning to the life he once had or falling in a blaze of glory during the ground invasion of Yavin 4. I really believe Kino Loy actually deserves his own side story, maybe a prequel to Andor. But what do you think? Do you enjoy the Andor series? Are you skipping it? Who's your favorite character from the series? Let me know in the comments below. I do read them all, even if I can't respond to all of them. I do read them. Also, on your way out, hit that subscribe button and up to date on everything Star Wars. This is Gerald, a Star Wars fanatic, signing off, wishing you all great health, happiness, and peace. Thank you all for watching, and remember, this is the way. And stay positive. It's the only way.